So this is how woke really dies in Hollywood. This is how creativity might actually die in Hollywood. There's a new app that's being circulated to studio heads. It's called Quilty. And apparently Quilty is an AI app that more or less tells the studios which films are going to be a sure thing, which films are going to resonate with audiences, how they're going to market those films. I wish to God they had this before they started working on the Star Wars sequels. But there it is. We used to actually have people at the studio who had a pretty good sense about these things, and I don't know what happened to them. I think they probably got pushed out because for the last decade, Hollywood has been pumping out a lot of movies that are not crowd pleasers. In fact, a lot of them have been antagonistic toward audiences, especially of legacy franchises, and anybody. And you don't need an AI app. Anybody could have told you that it wasn't going to work the way they thought it was going to work. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the post-mortem on Sora, which lasted a whopping, 6 months? And they shut it down. And it turned out that they were burning $1 million a day, $1 million a day on Sora. And it had less than 500,000 users. So, you know, it is what it is, right? Money talks, and that's basically the purpose of this video. Is we're going to talk about how money is going to talk, and that's going to dictate what Hollywood's going to do. Project Hail Mary doing very, very well, and I think the studios are going to look at this and be like, yeah, you know, we need more movies like this. We need more movies like this, and fewer shitty Star Wars sequels. Now, Project Hail Mary doing that well might actually help Starfighter when it comes out. If we're being honest here, as long as the movie doesn't completely suck, it might actually, that might be the movie that puts Star Wars back on track. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. This is Kneon, this is Clownfish TV, and this is the channel where we just talk about how Hollywood is stinking it up, man, among other things, and technology, and all this stuff is congealing. The reason people are like, why are you talking about tech so much on your channel lately? And I'm like, well, I come from a tech background, for one thing. I think a lot of people know, I mean, I worked in comics, but I also, my day job was working as a web developer for a number of years. So tech fascinates me. Very much so. And my hobbies include rebuilding vintage arcade machines. Like that's what I do for fun, right? I am 100% a nerd, and you know, so seeing Hollywood and tech kind of congeal is pretty cool, you know. But let's talk about this. This is gonna supposedly cut down on the number of flops that Hollywood produces. See also the internet. Like when you've got a lot of fans telling you, hey, this movie is a bad idea, and you do it anyway, and guess what? It crashes and burns at the box office. That is a you thing. That is a you thing. This is coming from Variety. Quilty, a new AI platform designed to help the entertainment industry make smarter financial and creative decisions, has launched. The platform offers script analysis, packaging suggestions, and production planning tools. Users will receive data on comparable projects, talent, tax incentives, and potential shooting locations, the festival scene, and the distribution landscape. It probably tells them which YouTubers to go to, too, to promote their movie. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The technology will also offer crystal ball predictions about how a movie will do at the box office, as well as its cultural resonance. There needs to be a huge red flag on this thing. If you release this movie, it will destroy the franchise. You will take a franchise, a legacy franchise like Star Wars, and devalue it almost overnight by releasing The Last Jedi and then doubling down on calling the fans names, telling them they're the problem. If you would like to make money on Star Wars 10 years from now, do not release this movie. I am hoping somebody at Warner Brothers is going to run Stephen Colbert's Lord of the Rings through this, and it's going to come up as being like, yeah, this is a really bad idea. This is not going to work. This is not going to help you make any money, right? We can tell you the peak time to make and release a film, says co-founder Daniel Wood. We want to empower the creator. So let's take a look at this. This is coming from Variety. Quilty AI platform designed to change how scripts are developed and assessed, launches exclusive. It's a new artificial intelligence platform designed to help the entertainment industry make more informed financial and creative decisions, and it is launched. So guess what, activists? you guys are kind of screwed because this thing is going to take a look at your movie pitch and be like, yeah, that's not going to work. The only downside is it might just be more formulaic stuff. The technology includes creative analysis for scripts and projects, packaging, etc. It's founded by Simon Horstman, a technology and entertainment lawyer and film, television, and theater producer alongside technology entrepreneur and film producer Daniel Wood. The goal is to allow users to access data about how comparable projects have done, as well as information on creative talent, tax incentives, and potential shooting locations, the festival scene, distribution. We're going to be a 360-degree platform. We're creating a sandbox where you can improve your product, find producers for your product, and be introduced to buyers. Interesting. So this is, they said the program's going to offer what calls a Quilty score, proprietary AI-powered evaluation framework that analyzes projects across 4 dimensions: story and craft, commercial viability, cultural resonance, and production reality. Scores are delivered on a standardized 0 to 100 scale, which the founders say should lead to more informed greenlighting decisions. Users and subscribers can enjoy a complimentary preview of their work, et cetera, et cetera. Now, look, this might be pie in the sky thinking for these guys because it is a startup, but I have a feeling this is going to be the new normal. I have a feeling that these studios are going to run pitches through, maybe it's not this program, but a program like this, and it's going to come back with results and be like, you know what, if you release this movie, there's a pretty good chance it'll make money. Or if you release this movie, there's a pretty good chance it's going to not only stink it up at the box office, but also destroy your brand going forward. And maybe this is the reality check that Hollywood needs, because I think a lot of studio executives have been letting their friends pitch shit that's been, getting picked up, and they've been listening to the wrong people. They've been listening to these millennial and Gen Z activists who've been telling them this is what people want. No, everybody wants Luke Skywalker as a lesbian. Sure. I wanted to see myself represented since I was a kid. And Luke Skywalker changing all these characters, these legacy characters, in favor of the new people coming in, and the new female characters, the new minority characters coming in and lecturing the classic white male characters. Yeah, this is exactly what everybody wants. Honest. Everybody in my college says this is what they've been waiting for. Everybody on Tumblr has been telling me this is what they want. And I think we're going to see this applied to animation too. And yeah, I think we're going to have an era of Hollywood playing it very safe, and it's all your fucking faults. It is. You greenlit a bunch of shit that underperformed and destroyed legacy franchises, and this is what you're going to get. You're going to get what you fucking deserve, which is your project is not going to get greenlit unless it goes through the AI detector, and the AI decides, hey, this thing, statistically speaking, probably will make money. So even if they're not using AI to actually make the movies, because there's a lot of pushback, they are absolutely going to use it to make decisions. I think they're using it to make decisions now, because you could theoretically run an idea through something like, Chat GPT or Grok or something and say, hey, just based on what based on historic data, and that's what AI can do, is it can pull from, historic data. Based on historic data, is this thing going to perform, yes or no? And if the AI, multiple AI models maybe are telling you, yeah, you greenlight this thing, it'll probably perform, then that's what happens. I'm sitting here looking, they have the Harry Potter reboot here on HBO. And I think if they had run that through something like this, it would have said, 1, don't do it because it doesn't need to be done. And 2, for God's sake, if you're going to do it and you're going to say that this is a 1-to-1 adaptation of the books, then it better be a 1-to-1 adaptation of the books. And that includes the casting choices, because if you make some unpopular casting decisions, it could tank the whole fucking project. So it kind of reminds me of what's going on in HR right now, where you can't even get through the gauntlet until you pass, the AI test. And that this is how they're going to greenlight movies now. And the only reason we're here, the only reason we are at this point right now, is because so many people had greenlit so many fucking ridiculous money-losing TV shows and movies that executives don't know what to greenlight, but they know that listening to the activists isn't working. So they're going to go to something like this. And I think it's going to mean a lot less animation too. And I said that before, because animation is super expensive. If you tell the AI that, hey, I'm going to spend $1 million an episode on some cartoon show and there's no way to possibly merchandise it, it's going to be like, that's the dumbest shit. You could just do a reality show. And that's what's going to happen. So speaking of AI in movies, let's talk about this. This is why Sora got shut down. And we know that deal that Disney had in play with Sora is done. But this is why, specifically why they shut it down. But one, OpenAI is like bleeding out money, right? So why OpenAI really shut down Sora? Coming from TechCrunch. OpenAI's decision last week to shut down Sora, its AI video generation tool, just 6 months after releasing it to the public, raised immediate suspicions. The app had invited users to upload their own faces. So was this some kind of elaborate data grab? According to a new Wall Street Journal investigation, the real explanation is considerably more boring. Sora was a money pit that nobody was using, and keeping it alive was costing OpenAI the AI race. Wow. So what happened? After a splashy launch, Sora's worldwide user count peaked at around 1 million and then collapsed to fewer than 500,000 people. Meanwhile, the app was burning through roughly $1 million a day, not because people loved it, but because video generation is so costly to run. Every user who dropped themselves into a fantastical scene was drawing down a finite supply of AI chips. While a whole team inside of OpenAI was focused on making Sora work, Anthropic was quietly winning over the software engineers and enterprises that drive revenue. Claude Code, in particular, was eating OpenAI's lunch. Yeah, so people are, I think what we're doing is we're starting to find the actual use for AI, and making cringy videos really is not a good use of AI. I think what will happen is, again, in tandem with these, crystal ball, these AI crystal ball predictor, green light machine, whatever the fuck you want to call it. What they're going to do is they're probably going to sell this technology or lease this technology to actual studios, because it's a waste to let the general public just make dumbass cat videos that aren't going to do anything. They'll go to Disney or somebody else eventually. I know the deal's been canceled now, but I think eventually somebody will. If it's not OpenAI, it'll be somebody else, and they'll be like, look, we'll make you a deal. You can use our technology, because it is so resource intensive. Now, what I think is going to happen long run is they're going to use these AI tools to determine what videos are going to work, and will they get a return on their investment. So if we drop millions of dollars in tokens generating this AI movie, is it going to actually make us some money? And so kind of like storyboarding, right? Where you storyboard the whole movie out basically in advance, so you're not wasting a lot of time on a lot of scenes that aren't going to work. It's going to be the same with the movie production pipeline. We're not going to have to guess. Like, we know if we release this kind of movie, it will probably do pretty good. And then we can spend the money on the AI tools or whatever. That is going to mean a lot fewer jobs for people in Hollywood, because not only are they probably going to use AI to offset some of the costs, right? But they're not going to greenlight as many movies, because they're going to be like, you know what, we're better off having one Mario Galaxy movie that makes $1 billion than greenlighting a whole bunch of shit that loses us money. See also Disney. They greenlit a whole bunch of movies that lost them money. And I don't think you're going to see that happen again. I think that those days are over. Speaking of movies, and speaking of failures, Speed Racer, the Speed Racer movie is coming back to theaters April 25th, 26th, and 29th. I actually have it marked in my calendar. I saw it today. I fucking love that movie so much. So underrated. It was so underrated. And I think it was about 10 or 15 years ahead of its time, because there wasn't an appetite for anime movies back then, but it was so good. And I loved it. It was just dumb fun. But yeah, I think we're going to see more old movies in theaters, and then the studios are just going to greenlight what works. So that's it, man. They're going to play it safe. Hollywood's going to play it safe, and it's activists' fault. They're going to try blaming the consumer. I'm like, you can't blame the consumer. If you create something they don't want to buy, that's a you problem. If they're telling you what they want and what they don't want, and you don't listen, that's a you problem. So this is where we're at. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.